From bicycles to buses to groceries and food delivery, Bhavish Aggarwal has had many failures, and these mistakes have made him the successful entrepreneur that he is today. So let's go through some of these missteps with the original S1 electric scooter kicking off our list. In July of 2021, Ola Electric opened up pre-bookings for the S1 and S1 Pro, but 6 months later, in January of 2022, S1 customers were surprised to see this tweet from Bhavish Aggarwal. "We're upgrading all our S1 customers to S1 Pro hardware." Essentially, he was saying the S1 would not be shipping as planned, and an email from the company confirmed this, saying a vast majority of customers chose the S1 Pro, and so the company was pushing manufacturing of the standard S1 to late 2022. But the troubled journey of the standard S1 was far from over, because while Ola Electric did end up shipping the S1 at the end of 2022, less than a year later, in July of 2023, Ola Electric would officially retire the standard S1, quietly removing it from their website. Now, around the same time that Ola Electric was beginning to ship the standard S1 electric scooter in September of 2022, they were also gearing up for international expansion. Nepal was the first international market they planned to enter, with a sleek promo video and Bhavish Aggarwal tweeting about the news from his personal account, and he also mentioned plans to enter Latin America, Southeast Asia, and the European Union, with the next update being Ola Electric showcasing their scooters at the EICMA 2022. News outlets reported that the company would be commencing sales in Europe in early 2023, but it's 2024 now and this hasn't happened. What's more, Ola Electric sales in Nepal appear to be non-existent. When we last checked in with our audience in Nepal, they confirmed that Ola Electric is nowhere to be found. Now, in spite of these missteps, Ola Electric today is a thriving brand. It's India's market leader in the electric two-wheeler segment, but it's worth noting that this wasn't always the case. In fact, there was a point in time in 2017 when Ola Electric's future was uncertain. They started with a pilot program in Nagpur, partnering with Mahindra to introduce electric cabs in the area. The project featured 100 Mahindra E20 Plus cars and 50 charging stations with a 50 crore rupee investment. However, it was ultimately decided that India wasn't ready for mass adoption of electric cars, and so this iteration of Ola Electric was scrapped. Then in 2018, Bhavish shifted focus with Mission Electric, aiming to put 10,000 electric rickshaws on India's roads. Yet despite this ambitious plan, little progress was made with electric rickshaws and e-rickshaws, and these initial targets were never met. By 2019, Ola had spun Ola Electric out into a separate entity, pivoting the focus to building an EV ecosystem, which included charging infrastructure and battery development. Many of these early experiments with 3- and 4-wheelers didn't pan out, but these setbacks did pave the way for later success with the acquisition of Etergo and Ola Electric's eventual pivot into electric scooters. Now, before Ola Electric, ride-hailing was the industry that Ola was known for. But just like with electric scooters, Ola's cab business had a tough time outside of India. In 2018, Ola Cabs embarked on its international journey. Starting in Australia, the company soon expanded to New Zealand in September of 2018, and then the UK by March of 2019. However, competition in these markets was fierce. By 2023, Ola Australia had slipped into 3rd place behind Uber and Didi, with Uber holding 80% market share in 2023. In the UK, Ola struggled to compete with Uber and Bolt, even though in early 2020 they told the BBC that they were confident they'd be the market leader within a year. And the same story played out in New Zealand, with Uber taking 65% market share by 2022, crowding out smaller players like Ola. In April of 2024, Ola finally gave up, announcing its exit from all international markets, and the reason they gave for doing this was to focus on their electric mobility business in India. But it's also worth noting that even in India itself, Ola was losing market share in the ride-hailing industry, slipping from 1st place all the way down to 3rd behind Uber and Rapido. So unfortunately, if you're based in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, and you want to ride in an Ola cab, you're out of luck. But you know what's always there for you wherever or whenever you need it? MEM. A tool that's become pretty much essential to my workflow lately, whether I'm planning my next video, outlining a script, or just capturing spontaneous ideas on the go. I just pull up MEM. It's essentially a highly intuitive notes app, but what really sets it apart is its AI-powered chat and smart search features. I can talk to MEM like I would with ChatGPT, but it actually knows me because of all the notes that I have saved. MEM helps me to pull up things that I'm looking for right then and there when I need them, whether it's a note that I made last week or an idea that I scribbled down months months ago, everything is right there, automatically organized and accessible. And when I say accessible, by the way, I mean accessible across all of my devices. Now, I have used other apps for this in the past, like Notion, but I stopped using that because it was too complicated, slow, and it just took too much time to maintain. I've also used Google Keep quite a bit in the past too, which is pretty simple and quick, but organizing notes took a lot of work for me. But with Mem, I got the best of both worlds. It lets me focus on being creative and instantly capturing my thoughts without worrying about how to organize them. So if you want a notes app that can help you level up your note-taking process, I highly recommend Mem. It's been a huge help for me, and I'm sure that it can do the same for you. You can find a link to their website in the description and pinned comment down below. And thanks to Mem for sponsoring this video. Now, apart from taxis, Ola has explored a number of failed mobility experiments. In 2015, Ola launched Ola Shuttle, offering air-conditioned buses for office commuters in cities like Bengaluru and Gurugram, and they had ambitious plans. They wanted to invest between 120 and 150 crore rupees into this business, and they even acquired Geotag, a transportation solutions company building applications to assist public transportation units. Then in 2017, Ola launched Ola Pedal, a dockless bicycle sharing service, and the plan was to introduce hundreds of bicycles in office campuses and colleges like IIT Madras and IIT Kanpur, and a large part of the vision for this service was borrowed from unicorn companies like Ofo and Mobike, which were seeing a huge success in China. Ola Pedal was also a response to activity in the Indian market too. Zoomcar had launched a similar service with a very similar name, Pedal, just a couple of weeks before Ola announced their Pedal. Ultimately, both of these experiments were short-lived. Ola Shuttle was discontinued in 2018, and Ola Pedal was shut down as well. Now, I mentioned Zoomcar earlier, and Pedal wasn't the only instance of Ola trying to compete with that company. In 2019, Bhavish Aggarwal launched Ola Drive to enter the car rental space, where the leader was Zoomcar, which owns 75% of the market. With a ride-hailing user base of over 200 million people, expanding into the rental space seemed like an easy next step. And so Ola announced plans to add 20,000 cars to their fleet by 2020, which was double Zoomcar's 10,000 vehicles. And they also said that they were going to invest $500 million into Ola Drive, positioning it as India's largest shared vehicle platform. Now, it isn't clear when or why Ola decided to shut Ola Drive down, but at some point in 2022, people started noticing that the self-driving rental option had been removed from the Ola app. Now, this is just speculation on my part, but if Ola did in fact build a fleet of 20,000 cars for Ola Drive, they would have had a bunch of vehicles sitting around collecting dust after they shut Drive down. And that's where Ola Cars comes in, a used car marketplace which was launched in 2021. Major players like Cars24, Cardeco, Droom, and Spinny had turned unicorn in this industry, and Ola wanted a piece of that pie. With operations in 7 cities, the company sold 5,000 cars in its first month, making them the fastest growing new entrant in this category, and they also had plans to expand to 100 cities and hire 10,000 people within a year. But the business didn't even last that long. 8 months after it was started, Ola Cars was shuttered, and Ola repurposed the infrastructure of this business to support its growing electric scooter sales and service network. Now, at this point in the video, we've primarily looked at Bhavish Aggarwal's mobility offerings, but now I want to take a look at something a bit different, delivery. And firstly, let's look at food delivery, because in 2015, Bhavish launched Ola Cafe with the goal of delivering curated meals from top-rated restaurants in 20 minutes across Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, and Hyderabad. And this was inspired by Uber's offering in the same category, Uber Fresh, which was later renamed to Uber Eats. But unfortunately, Ola Cafe was late to the party and struggled to compete against Swiggy, Zomato, Tiny Owl, Foodpanda, and Fresh Menu. What's more, by 2016, funding for food tech had dried up, forcing Bhavish to shut Ola Cafe down. Now, it is worth noting that Bhavish didn't give up on food delivery altogether. In 2017, Ola acquired Foodpanda's India business, which was rebranded to Ola Foods in 2019, and they've since gone on to launch brands like Khichdi Experience, Bolsam, Paratha Experience, and That Pizza Place, and Ola Foods is still around today. But several key leaders left Ola in 2021, and Bhavish's focus has shifted to Krutram and Ola Electric, and so Ola Foods is a shadow of its former self today in 2024. But apart from restaurant food delivery and cloud kitchens, Bhavish has also experimented with grocery delivery in the past too. Around the same time as Ola Cafe was launched, the company also started Ola Store, a hyperlocal grocery delivery app in Bengaluru. Ola Store offered personal care, medicine, electronics, and of course groceries, and they were competing in this space with established players like big basket and blink it. However, just like with Ola Cafe, the grocery space proved to be unprofitable, resulting in Ola shutting it down at the same time as Ola Cafe. But just like Ola Cafe, Bhavish continued to believe in the grocery delivery segment. In 2021, as India's quick commerce space was booming, Bhavish launched Ola Dash to capitalize on this opportunity. The business began with 15 dark stores, and the goal was to scale it to 500 stores across 20 cities, but the company ultimately decided to shut it down in 2022, citing a renewed focus on its electric vehicle division. But as the old saying goes, third time's a charm. Ola recently announced the Ola Dark Store, an automated dark store as a service platform, at their 2024 Sankalp showcase, so let's see, perhaps Ola could still play a role in India's grocery delivery space. And finally, let's wrap things up with the failure that started it all, Ola Trip, which began as Bhavish Aggarwal acting as a travel agent selling whitewater rafting trips in Haridwar. The original vision was to build a business around these weekend holiday excursions, but luckily for Bhavish, this didn't work out, which is why he pivoted to Ola Cabs in 2011 and became one of the most successful startup founders in the entire country.